I have been playing so much Battlegrounds that I'm starting to get mad at Bob.
Why?
Because
He's
my
so
games
positive.
are not going well, and he just sounds like an a-hole. Because it's just
like my favorite thing is when he just jumps in and says, I think you could win this one. And I lose the next round. I'm like, damn it, Bob. You got my hopes up.
my favorite is when I'm like
secretly
when I'm at 7 health on like turn 6 and he says, I think you can win this one. And I go, I don't think I can, Bob, because I'm not at 7 health because of demons. I'm at 7 health because I'm up Shit's Creek without a paddle and it's your fault.
See, and I see him as like this like omnipotent being that can see everybody else's board, and he's like, oh yeah, this girl, she's gonna win this one. I feel like he has infinite information and he could never be wrong, right?
Well, he should get replaced by Zephyrus at some point. He's just gonna be like, oh, I just know how this is gonna go, but he won't. And he also, just like he doesn't know when to give you BGH. Oh, topical Zephyrus joke. Do. But yeah, so it was teased just yesterday that Nerf was coming to demons in Battlegrounds. Didn't know how many things were going to be adjusted. Turns out just one demon is getting nerfed, and it's not even being adjusted in terms of stats or effect. It is just changing tiers, and that is the Floating Watcher. Floating Watcher is going from tier 3 to tier 4.
Yeah, and I will say I was a little bit disappointed because I mean they did say in the tweet, or sorry, Connor did say in the tweet that there was a nerf coming. So I mean this is one change. This is a change. And they did say that they're going to look at them again after the next big Battlegrounds content patch, which is right around the corner. So this isn't all that they're doing about demons, but I don't know. I kind of I thought maybe we'd see a little bit more. I mean, Floating Watcher getting changed, getting moved up a tavern tier. I do think this is a big deal. I think tavern tiers have a very, very big impact. If you want to get there quickly, then you're going to need a big investment in your economy into your tavern tier. And that can usually set you back and might knock you down a few levels. And I don't know. I think this is a good change. But I thought there would be more, maybe? I don't know.
I did too. I'm in the same...
I've lost my last 2 lobbies to Tirion and Rafam, who were both playing demons. And I was just like, ugh. Like, same 2 heroes, like, same everyone just pushing demons. And like...
Well, were they going giant demons or were they going...
stuff.
Were they going big demons or juggler demons? Or one
was juggling and one was big.
Okay. Yeah, because part of my... thought here is I share very much the same thoughts, and frankly, I mean, this has been announced like of an hour ago at the time of recording this, so I haven't had a ton of time to really sit down and like take a look at the field and really mull over my thoughts. But my gut reaction is I'm not sure it's enough. Like, I don't think it's a bad change, but I am like getting rolled over. And rolling over, folks, almost as frequently with juggler demon comps as I am with floating watcher demon comps. And that's not going anywhere.
They're both very strong, for sure.
The difference between the two is that if like you're AFK or you triple into a floating watcher, you're going for it, versus if you roll into a juggler, if you're not already a little bit down the demon path, it's not nearly as a safe a bet to go juggler, right? But at the same time, juggler, I feel like kind of just works out in the natural opening of the game. If you just kind of end up going demons, especially with the addition of Imprisoner, like Imprisoner really just kind of gives a kind of a standard lead in to 3-star and juggler pops up. Let's go.
Right.
You know, Imprisoner is just kind of the start of that.
Yeah, I do think that the Watcher is a good idea, though, like moving it up to tier 4, because I know, well, obviously, I mean, you already mentioned the AFK thing, where she could literally discover 2 floating Watchers on her first turn, I guess, technically. And then, not only that, but you had a lot of people who were like playing the strat where you would just kind of like stay down at Tavern Tier 2 and just triple into Watchers all the time and, discover your way to a victory. So I think that like having that extra pools, more minions in your pool means it's harder to get triples, which is why, bumping up to Tavern Tier 3, you can't as successfully do the hunting for triples that you can do in Tavern Tier 2. And then on top of that, having it being Tavern Tier 4, it's just like it's pushing it that much later into the game that like you're not going to have as many rounds. Like you might literally be 3-4 rounds later where you're starting to get your Watchers, which means that like you're missing all of those turns of buffs that the Watcher would have otherwise gotten. So I think this is a really big change to the Watcher and I'm happy about it, but I don't know if it's enough to fix demons because as everything that Garrett said about the juggler is correct. So yeah, but if there's one really good way to play demons, I'm cool with that. I just now there's like 2 solid ways to go demons that it feels like it's really difficult to kind of compete.
It is, and kind of I think similar to like Amalgam coming out. My kind of initial thought is, for games you lose to people that just find the nuts that just high roll like crazy, this feels like it gives me one less out to kind of contend with insane high rolls. But also my brain goes to, well, what is the high roll now? I think it's Cobalt Guardian. But Cobalt Guardian is countered by Juggler.
Like the high roll is like, is the super good juggles. That's like the most, I don't know. I find juggles so frustrating. And this is like going all the way back to like OG Hearthstone, right? Like Juggler just always feels bad. Either it hits the perfect place. It's exactly the same as Knife Juggler. Either it hits the place that makes you happy as the person playing the Juggler, or it hits the place that makes you sad as the person playing Juggler, and vice versa. Like, I don't know. It feels like no matter how the juggles go, one player is really upset about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that that's probably going to get looked at after the next big Tavern Tier, after the next big content patch, which Connor did mention. And I think like the next big Battlegrounds patch that he's talking about, like this has got to be the Dragons patch, right? Because we're coming to the end of the year of the Dragon. They've told us dragons are coming. Do you think dragons could be big enough to punch demons in the face?
Well, I think at that point, there's a very good chance with this moving, with Floating Watcher moving to Tier 4. I think an injection of another tribe stands a really strong chance of pulling the draft in another interesting direction. Because right now, that's where my frustration is starting to come with Battlegrounds. This week is the first time where I felt like this is figured out and I'm starting to get a little bored with it.
Well, this is also the longest we've gone without a patch, right?
I honestly don't know off the top of my head in terms of like black and white.
It feels like the longest.
It sure as hell feels like it. Yeah. Yeah. Because it feels like no matter what I try drafting, there's too many other people trying to draft it. And so it's starting to me feel like I just need to get lucky or get a good hero. And I haven't been getting good hero offers this week. I can't remember the last time I saw Daryl and I miss him. Looked at my stats again recently. I was like, holy crap, I'm kind of a monster with Daryl. I didn't even realize. it just kind of crept up on me that I started to understand the hero and didn't really think about it. And then I was like, oh yeah, I guess I was on a bit of, it was actually the Tirion release week. I went on a tear with Daryl, didn't even realize it. I was too busy yelling at Bob for not offering me Tirion. So, but this week I've just been getting bottom tier heroes all week, and I'm struggling. Also, I did what I said I was going to do. I rolled I dusted off my European account and put it on my phone. And I'm killing it over there. Y'all in the low MMRs have no idea how to draft. It's wonderful. It's great. And I think it has also hurt my main account play as a result. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I mean, this MMR probably doesn't count that much. Holy crap, it really does.
It really, really does. Yeah.
Really free. And I'm not that high. I'm still in the 6,000s and approaching the 5,000s again after this week.
Hey, don't knock us 5,000 players.
I'm not knocking you. I'm knocking myself. I was almost at 7,000. I was at 6,800 and change, and I'm now at 6,100 and change.
You have plummeted.
Yeah. I've had a horrible week on my main account. But I've knocked out, I think, I opened my European account with 3 wins in a row.
Nice.
It was just like first place. I'm like, okay, I guess MMR does count for something. So that was really interesting. And I'm really enjoying it. Like, I took Millhouse every possible freaking time that I could because I just want to play more with the hero. I can report Millhouse is bad. Millhouse is just bad. You just need to get lucky.
I refuse to believe it. So many people said Daryl was bad at the beginning. There's got to be someone who's a good Millhouse player. That player exists.
Yes, that person is the luckiest person in existence because that's how you're good at Millhouse. You just get lucky. You just got to get lucky with Millhouse. But yeah, I'm just interested in all of this because, again, I really think Cobalt Guardian is now the high roll for tier 3, but Juggler is a really good counter to Cobalt Guardian, and Juggler is going nowhere. The Juggler Demon comp is fantastic. It has trouble dealing with Big Demon comp. So I think this now puts Juggler Demon above Big Demon.
Okay.
Although I think there's an argument you could probably break through with a Wrathweaver in pure stats to just soak up juggles. And also you could just, now that there's no now that there's no floating watcher at 3 to make you double down on big demons, I think we're going to see a lot more juggler comps that also just have a big Wrathweaver because it's not hard to make room for that.
Right, exactly. I don't know. I feel like maybe I just need to go Murlocs more often and just like look for all that poison.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I still don't think you Murlocs. There's a serious amount of luck, I think, that goes into going Murlocs early. There's IQ 1 million plays late game with Tide Hunters where you can swap into it, but
yeah.
And you can, it's pretty easy to recognize. It's like, do I have a board full of Murlocs and I just happen to buff a couple of them early game and now I'm finding Colite Seers? That cool. Like that's when you can make it work. But if you're not finding Colite Seers, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
I even had a game that went kind of weirdly good the other day in the opening of it, where I ended up with a board full of Murlocs that had no health and I didn't find a Seer, but it was working, so I just stuck with it, and I actually rolled into a really early Begurgle, and it wasn't enough because I wasn't finding the Seers. I just got rolled over. It didn't matter.
Right.
Because of Jugglers. Actually, 2 people went Jugglers. Neither of them had Golden Jugglers, and they still just decimated my board.
Yeah. So is it basically just like Juggle comp versus like Big Booty comp, and those are your 2 choices right now? Is just demons?
I think doubling down on big demons via floating watcher, that's going to be the new high roll. I think you might get lucky and roll into one on your first roll after leveling up to 3. You find a floating watcher and you go for it, and you just get the demon nuts, kind of the same way you can get really lucky with Murlocs. And so I don't know. I think the popular builds is going to be Juggler versus Cobalt Guardian mech. I think that's the 2 I think those are going to be the popular builds, and I think people that know how to draft beasts are going to clean up right now. Also, if you get Tirion, I think you're still going to be pretty damn good. I think you're still going to be okay. I want to see them mess with heroes. I was honestly, I'm stoked about the Watcher thing, and as much as I, this entire conversation here is about it. Is it enough? And I don't really think it is. My impatience here is being spent on I wanted heroes to be adjusted. I think Tirion is clearly overtuned for
although I find Tirion, it kind of gives me a lot of the feels of when we have a really polarized meta, because Tirion, I feel like more than anyone else can just totally roll terribly and not see the things that he needs early on, and then just constantly tribe, and he doesn't have a hero power to really help him out in any other way. So that doesn't mean he can't, go top 4. But I feel like when Tirion gets everything he wants, then he's like this powerhouse juggernaut, unstoppable machine. And it kind of seems like it's one or the other. And so because his performance can be so polarizing, like it really seems like he comes kind of like first, fourth, or last, and the fourths aren't that often. I've had Tyrions that I just totally roll over. I've had terrible drafts as Tirion before that it just feels like there's no, coming back from. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about him because I do think he's super powerful, but I also think he can just totally flop. So
I continue to disagree with you and think you're a crazy person.
I know.
I mean, we have stat, like it's an on average thing. Like the average placement of Tirion is the best in the game by a sizable divide. And frankly, the only first place I think Tyrion is really hard to get first place with, but he's really easy to get like top 3 with, is what it boils down to. Like really consistent. And in a world where a lot of other heroes I think are becoming much more difficult to actually guarantee a top 4 with. And Tirion just like kind of takes the cake. And again, I would like to remind you, my only first place with Tirion is by not using his hero power at all. I didn't get the draft, and I just got a good draft. I mean, it's anecdotal, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Like I know I'm not saying Tyrion's bad by any stretch of the imagination. Like what I'm basically saying is I feel like he's either really, really good or really, really bad. Like I don't know. Like I'm maybe it's just my MMR and where the people I'm playing against and my not understanding him well enough to play him properly. I don't know, but or like not understanding the break points of when I should, stop trying to do his thing and just worry about what I'm getting drafted and see his hero power as like a bonus. Maybe I'm just not changing my game plan and wasting too much of my early game currency gold, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think he needs to be looked at.
Yeah. I mean, the last round of stats we got from HS Replay was Tirion on top with the current, the average. This was last week's stats. I haven't gotten new ones from them, but I would assume it hasn't really changed because last week from the week before that to then was essentially no change at all.
Yeah.
And the meta hasn't changed. So Tirion was sitting at an average placement of 3.3, which is almost breaking into like 3 even territory. The next closest is Rafam at 4 on the dot.
Yeah.
That's a major divide. And then Yogg's at 4.01, Dance and Daryl's at 4.04, Edwin's at 4.1. That's really close. And then Tirion is just sitting almost an entire average placement above the top 5, which is just nutty. Also, like, I guess, Rafam's maybe not as bad as I originally thought if he's that close with Yogg and Daryl, but Rafam still feels, again, just on average, just so freaking powerful. But yeah, it's just it's efficiency. We're dealing with efficiency with all of these heroes. The cost or lack thereof of their hero power is just exceptionally powerful with all of these.
Yep.
So it's interesting. And boy,
so if you were to change and balance Tirion, what would a new Tirion look like?
I have absolutely no idea. I haven't really spent much time thinking about it. And Kajitar in the chat room said, "What would you even do to it would kind of stink if it cost 2 for his hero power." And I agree. I don't know. I think we might I'm ready for let's just get him out of here. Can we get a break? Bring Bran back at this point. I think it's fine. I think Bran would kind of stink or maybe be middle of the road. Well, maybe not. I mean, where did Shadow? Oh, never mind. Shadowwalk's in 21st place. Maybe it's not as good as I thought. So Bran would be better than Shadowwalk though, right? So
probably
be interesting. Yeah, I'm just kind of ready for a Tirion break. He's in almost all of my games and almost always in the top 3, and I'm just kind of bored with it. But
yeah, I always hate when I get randomly matched against him. I'm just like, ugh, why?
yeah. Right now, Tirion and Yogg are the two when I go up against someone. I'm like, oh, come on. I don't even get that tilted about AFK on 3 anymore. and now I'm going to get even less. Poor AFK, man.
Yeah.
She's hit harder by this floating watcher change than any other part, I think, of Battlegrounds. Like demons as a whole, obviously this affects them, but AFK's prowess is affected more than anything else, I think, here.
She'll just go back to Cobalt. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying. You know how since the game started, I've been saying that mech is my way to eke out a 4th place in terrible, dire straits of drafting. That is not working for me anymore. There's too many people diving for mechs. So it's like I have to just find an early Cobalt and kind of get a little luckier there. So I don't know if it's enough to get you there anymore. It's interesting.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if you don't get your Cobalt in the first couple of rolls at 3, then you just shouldn't bother with trying mechs.
Yeah. I need
probably too late at that point.
I need to find myself like I need a Battlegrounds friend, someone I can like talk to on the regular that that can honestly coach me. I need to talk to someone because right now there's something that's not quite working at the MMR that I'm at. And I think I'm not leveling up fast enough. I think I found a lot of success at staying at 3 for a while, and it's just not working.
Yeah.
And I really think I just need to, I don't know. I think I need to find the Bran or something for my mechs or whatever the case is. I think I need to get that 4-star faster to find either a Bran or a Baron earlier in my game plan because it's just not working out. And down in lower leagues on my Europe account where the draft is a little bit easier, I am ranking up faster and I am finding those pieces, those bombs a lot sooner, even though it's all relative because I get the draft like a jerk. But it's some thoughts and I want to talk. I need someone that I can really crunch numbers about, and I haven't felt this way about a game in a while. And here I am. I've arrived. If you out there would like to be my Battlegrounds bunny, tweet at me, Garrett Art. Please and thank you. But yeah, whatever the case is, this is happening tomorrow. So rad. And I'm wondering if that big change isn't too far out, right? Because we're away from Galacron's Awakening as of yesterday. It's, the final wing is out. All those cards are out. Although I could also see them wanting to be like, let's give it 2 or 3 weeks. So we have something big in the lull between the end of Galacron's Awakening and whenever the hell the next standard year is going to start, firing its engine up.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, I understand that they would probably want to do something, but I also don't think that this will be like our last Battlegrounds patch before the new standard year. We're only halfway through February. So if we assume that Battlegrounds patch comes by the end of the month, then, there's still a good couple of months there with just kind of a lull. So, I mean, assuming we're going to have a new standard year kind of end of April, beginning of May, then I don't know. I feel like there's at least one more Battlegrounds patch in there somewhere of heroes and cards and funness. Oh my.
That's fair. That's all right.
But
yeah.
I can see wanting to let the adventure kind of breathe a little bit and get people talking about the standard cards and what's going on and trying things out and shaking up the meta and wanting to focus on standard Hearthstone for a couple of weeks. I think that's good. And Hatchkim in the chat room says time to start a Hall of Fame discussion. Yeah, that's actually something I haven't really thought too much about this year, but it's almost that time, Garrett, where we can start thinking about what might go away forever.
Why is Edwin still in the game? Why is Leroy still in the game? Why is Malagos? That's the other one. Yeah, that's another one. That's another interesting one. But whatever the case is, conversation.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another show.
Indeed,
yeah,
indeed. So, anyways, that's kind of our thoughts for Battlegrounds this week. I'm excited for the change to go live tomorrow. It's just that I'm trepidatious at best.